The human mind has always grappled with the nature of reality, what constitutes our existence, how our world functions, and whether what we perceive represents the entirety of what exists. Throughout history, from ancient mystical traditions to modern quantum physics, visionaries have suggested that our physical reality may be just one manifestation of a much vaster field of possibilities. Vadim Zeland's reality transurfing philosophy offers a compelling framework that addresses these fundamental questions through the concept of the alternative space, a metaphysical structure containing every possible version of reality that could ever exist. This exploration of the alternative space forms the cornerstone of understanding reality transurfing as a comprehensive system for conscious reality creation. By comprehending how this infinite field of possibilities operates, we gain unprecedented insight into the mechanics of manifestation and our role as conscious participants in selecting which version of reality we experience. The implications extend far beyond theoretical understanding, offering practical applications that can fundamentally transform how we navigate our lives and create our desired experiences. The alternative space represents a fundamental departure from conventional models of reality. Rather than viewing our world as a singular timeline progressing from past to future, the alternative space conceptualizes reality as an infinite information structure containing every possible scenario, event, and manifestation that could potentially occur. This vast matrix holds not just what has happened or what will happen, but every conceivable variation of what could happen under any circumstance. To visualize this concept, imagine an infinite coordinate system where each point represents a complete version of reality with its own unique properties and characteristics. Just as a mathematical coordinate system contains an infinite number of potential points, the alternative space contains an infinite number of potential realities. The sheer magnitude of this structure transcends our typical understanding of space and time, existing simultaneously everywhere and nowhere from our three-dimensional perspective. The alternative space isn't merely a theoretical construct, but a functional model that explains many phenomena our current scientific paradigm struggles to account for, from déjà vu experiences to creative inspiration, from synchronicities to the manifestation of thoughts into physical reality. It provides a cohesive framework that bridges subjective experience with objective manifestation. The structure of the alternative space operates according to principles quite different from the physical laws we observe in our everyday reality. Within this metaphysical architecture, time doesn't flow linearly but exists in a state of simultaneous completion. All possible pasts, presents, and futures coexist in a state of potentiality. The distinction between has happened, is happening, and will happen becomes meaningless, replaced by a spectrum of probability and focus. This information field contains not just event scenarios, but complete set designs, the detailed environments in which these scenarios take place. Every possible variation of physical reality exists as information templates within this structure, each with its own complete set of properties. These templates contain not just major events, but every minute detail, down to the position of each atom and the state of each energy field. The alternative space extends beyond the limitations of our three-dimensional world, encompassing higher dimensions that our physical senses cannot directly perceive. While we cannot physically go to the alternative space the way we might travel to another country, our consciousness interacts with it constantly through various channels, most notably through our thoughts, dreams, intuition, and creative processes. Reality transurfing posits that what we experience as our world consists of two fundamental aspects: the physical reality we can perceive through our senses, and the metaphysical reality that lies beyond direct perception. These two aspects are not separate realms, but complementary dimensions of a unified whole, interacting constantly at what Zeland terms the dual mirror, the interface between the seen and unseen. The physical aspect encompasses everything we can touch, see, hear, taste, and smell. The material world governed by the laws of physics as we understand them. This includes our bodies, the natural environment, man-made structures, and all observable phenomena. The metaphysical aspect, represented by the alternative space, contains the information templates, potential states, and energetic patterns that underlie and inform physical manifestation. This dual nature helps explain why reality sometimes seems paradoxical or contradictory. When viewed solely through the lens of materiality, many phenomena remain inexplicable. But when understood as the interaction between physical and metaphysical dimensions, previously mysterious occurrences find coherent explanation. We humans ourselves exemplify this duality, existing simultaneously as physical beings, with material bodies, and metaphysical entities with consciousness that transcends purely material explanation. At the junction where the physical and metaphysical aspects of reality interface, Zeland identifies a phenomenon he calls the dual mirror. This mirror reflects information between dimensions, allowing the metaphysical templates in the alternative space to manifest in physical reality, while simultaneously allowing our conscious and unconscious thoughts to influence which templates become activated. The dual mirror operates as both a reflection mechanism and a selection mechanism. It reflects back to us the energetic qualities we project through our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, bringing into our physical experience those aspects of the alternative space that resonate with our dominant inner state. Simultaneously, it serves as the selection interface through which our consciousness navigates the infinite potential realities available in the alternative space. When phenomena occur that traditional science struggles to explain, synchronicities, apparent telepathy, seemingly miraculous healing, or unexpected manifestations, these often represent instances where the interaction at the dual mirror becomes particularly noticeable. What appears as supernatural from a purely physical perspective is often the natural operation of the dual mirror selecting and reflecting specific potentials from the alternative space into physical manifestation. Perhaps the most universal and regular access we have to the alternative space occurs during our dreams. Far from being mere products of our imagination or random neural firing, dreams, according to Reality Transurfing, represent our consciousness directly experiencing sectors of the alternative space that may contain past potentials, future possibilities, or parallel realities that never manifested in our particular timeline. When we dream, our consciousness temporarily suspends its exclusive focus on physical reality and gains the freedom to navigate through various sectors of the alternative space. This explains why dreams can sometimes contain information we couldn't possibly know through normal channels, predict future events with uncanny accuracy, or present solutions to problems that eluded our waking mind. The dream state bypasses many of the filters and limitations that restrict our perception during waking consciousness. Dreams that feel extraordinarily vivid or meaningful often represent instances where we've accessed particularly significant sectors of the alternative space, perhaps versions of reality that align closely with our energetic state or contain information especially relevant to our life path. The common experience of déjà vu can sometimes be explained as a waking recognition of a scenario previously experienced during dream state exploration of the alternative space. The surreal quality of many dreams reflects the different organizing principles of the alternative space compared to physical reality. Time, space, identity, and causality operate differently in this metaphysical structure, leading to dream experiences that may seem bizarre or impossible when judged by the standards of waking reality. The connection between human memory and the alternative space offers another fascinating perspective on how we interact with this field of information. According to transurfing philosophy, the brain doesn't actually store all our memories as complete data packages within its physical structure. Instead, it maintains something analogous to addresses or reference points that connect to the complete information stored within the alternative space. This model helps explain several puzzling aspects of human memory that conventional neuroscience struggles to fully account for. The brain's relatively limited physical storage capacity compared to the vast amount of information we can potentially recall. The phenomenon of photographic memory, cases where individuals under hypnosis recall minute details from decades earlier, and instances of apparent access to information beyond personal experience, all become more comprehensible when viewed through this lens. When we remember something, our brain accesses the appropriate address and retrieves the information from the alternative space. This process normally operates seamlessly, but under certain conditions, stress, altered states of consciousness, spiritual practices, or neurological conditions, the system can behave differently. Sometimes memories become inaccessible when the address is lost or corrupted, while other times we may accidentally access information that seems to come from beyond our personal experience. This model also offers a potential explanation for why people generally don't remember past lives. The brain's physical address book is wiped clean between incarnations. However, in rare cases where these addresses somehow remain accessible, phenomena like apparent past life memories might occur. Some of humanity's greatest scientific discoveries and artistic masterpieces have come not through logical deduction or methodical work, but through sudden flashes of intuition or inspiration that seem to arrive from beyond the individual mind. Reality transurfing suggests these represent instances where the conscious mind successfully receives information directly from the alternative space. Albert Einstein famously noted that his breakthrough insights came suddenly and in a rather intuitive way, rather than through conscious reasoning. Similarly, countless artists, musicians, writers, and inventors report experiences where complete ideas, solutions, or creations seem to download into their awareness from an external source. From a transurfing perspective, these represent moments when the individual successfully accesses relevant information templates from the alternative space. The mind doesn't create these innovations from nothing. It receives them. The alternative space already contains every possible discovery, invention, artwork, musical composition, and story. The creative process involves tuning one's consciousness to resonate with and receive these existing potentials, rather than manufacturing them from scratch. This explains why similar discoveries or creative works sometimes emerge simultaneously from different people working independently. They're tapping into the same information available in the alternative space. This access operates most effectively when what Zealand calls the unity of heart and mind occurs, a state where analytical thinking harmonizes with intuitive feeling, allowing information to flow freely between the alternative space and conscious awareness. Practices that quiet the analytical mind and enhance intuitive receptivity, meditation, time in nature, flow states, or artistic immersion, often precede these moments of inspiration precisely because they facilitate this connection. While the alternative space shares certain features with other models of non-local information fields, it represents a distinct concept with unique properties. Carl Jung's collective unconscious, for instance, describes a shared psychological substrate containing universal archetypes and symbols accessible to all humans. While this overlaps somewhat with the alternative space, the latter extends far beyond psychological patterns to encompass complete physical reality templates. Rupert Sheldrake's theory of morphic fields proposes information fields that guide the development and behavior of systems, from molecules to ecosystems to societies. These fields store and transmit information about form, structure, and pattern. The alternative space, however, doesn't merely guide development but contains every possible variation of reality in complete form. The alternative space differs from these models in several key ways. 1. It contains not just psychological patterns or developmental templates, but complete versions of reality down to the smallest detail. 2. It exists as a stationary matrix of all possibilities rather than an evolving field. 3. It encompasses not just biological or psychological information, but the totality of physical reality itself. It functions as both an information repository and a manifestation mechanism. Unlike some models of information fields that evolve or develop over time, the alternative space exists as a complete static matrix. This doesn't mean it's unchanging from our perspective. Our movement through it creates the experience of change, but the field itself contains all possibilities simultaneously, rather than generating them sequentially. This static nature has profound implications. It means nothing is truly created or destroyed in an absolute sense. Our experience of creation and destruction represents movement between different sectors of the already existing alternative space, rather than the generation of genuinely new realities or the elimination of existing ones. What appears as a new invention, discovery, or creation is actually the manifestation of a potential that already existed in the alternative space. This differs fundamentally from the common information field that facilitates information transfer between objects or beings. The common field allows for communication and transmits information across space and time, while the alternative space exists as the underlying structure that determines what can potentially manifest in our world. According to Reality Transurfing, human thought possesses real energy that interacts directly with the alternative space. This isn't merely metaphorical. Thoughts generate actual energy patterns that resonate with corresponding sectors of the alternative space, strengthening the connection between our current reality and those potential realities that match the quality of our thoughts. This thought energy operates according to principles of resonance and correspondence. Thoughts with similar qualities naturally resonate with sectors of the alternative space containing realities that match those qualities. Fearful thoughts connect us to sectors containing fearful experiences. Loving thoughts connect us to sectors containing loving experiences. Thoughts of abundance connect us to sectors containing abundance, and so forth. Importantly, this process operates whether our thoughts are conscious or unconscious, intentional or habitual. The alternative space responds to the energetic quality and emotional charge of our thoughts, rather than their logical content or conscious intent. This explains why affirmations or visualizations without genuine emotional alignment often fail to manifest. The underlying emotional energy doesn't match the verbal content. Thought energy doesn't disappear after we think a thought, but continues to influence our connection to various sectors of the alternative space. Repeated thoughts establish stronger connections, explaining why persistent thought patterns tend to manifest corresponding experiences over time. This cumulative effect means that changing our dominant thought patterns requires persistence and consistency to overcome the momentum of established connections. Reality Transurfing identifies two distinct mechanisms through which human beings manifest reality: inner intention and outer intention. Understanding these two forces provides crucial insight into how we can consciously participate in selecting which sectors of the alternative space materialize in our experience. Inner intention operates within the constraints of the physical world through direct action and effort. When you use inner intention, you're working within the current manifestation of reality to change it through physical means. Studying to pass an exam, building a house brick by brick, or practicing an instrument to develop skill. Inner intention requires time, energy, and direct action in the material world. Outer intention, by contrast, operates directly with the alternative space itself, materializing sectors that aren't currently manifest in physical reality. Rather than changing the existing reality through effort, outer intention selects an already existing potential reality from the alternative space and brings it into manifestation. This process can appear miraculous from the perspective of conventional causality because it doesn't follow the normal rules of cause and effect in physical reality. Most people primarily use inner intention throughout their lives, occasionally experiencing spontaneous moments of outer intention that they might attribute to luck, coincidence, or divine intervention. Reality Transurfing offers techniques to consciously develop and direct outer intention, allowing for more efficient and seemingly magical manifestation experiences. The most powerful state for materializing specific sectors of the alternative space occurs when what Zilin calls the unity of heart and mind is achieved. This represents a harmonious alignment between analytical thinking and emotional feeling, between conscious intent and subconscious belief, between logical planning and intuitive guidance. When heart and mind operate in opposition, for instance, when you consciously desire success but subconsciously fear failure, this creates conflicting energy patterns that weaken your connection to any particular sector of the alternative space, resulting in mixed manifestations or stagnation. But when heart and mind align completely, an extraordinary power emerges. The full potential of outer intention becomes available. This unity state combines several qualities simultaneously. 1. Clear mental focus on a specific intention or outcome. 2. Genuine emotional alignment with that intention. 3. Release of doubt, fear, or contrary subconscious patterns. 4. Intuitive receptivity to guidance from the alternative space. 5. Detachment from specific mechanisms of manifestation. Many spiritual traditions have identified similar states through different terminology. Flow state, being in the zone, Christ consciousness, samadhi, or being in alignment with Source. From a transurfing perspective, these all describe variations of the unity of heart and mind that activates outer intention and allows direct materialization from the alternative space. Each living being, through its thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and actions, creates what transurfing calls a layer of personal reality. This layer represents the particular sectors of the alternative space that the individual has materialized through their inner and outer intention. Your personal layer includes everything you experience as your life: your body, relationships, environment, circumstances, and events. These individual layers aren't completely separate realities, but overlapping selections from the alternative space that together form what we experience as the shared world. Your layer intersects with the layers of others with whom you interact, creating zones of shared experience. The degree of intersection varies based on resonance. You share more reality with those whose energy patterns match yours more closely. This explains why different people can experience seemingly different versions of the same reality. They're actually experiencing their own personal layers that overlap with others' layers to varying degrees. Someone oriented towards seeing problems and difficulties will materialize a layer filled with challenges, while someone oriented towards seeing opportunities and blessings will materialize a very different layer, even when moving through ostensibly the same physical locations and circumstances. These personal layers aren't rigid or fixed, but constantly shifting as our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs change. Even small shifts in perspective or emotional state can begin to activate different sectors of the alternative space, gradually transforming our personal reality layer. When billions of individual reality layers overlap and interact, they create what we experience as the collective world. Areas of broad agreement among many individuals create what appear as hard or unchangeable aspects of reality, while areas with less collective focus remain more fluid and changeable. This collective world operates according to principles of majority resonance. When most people in a particular culture or geographic area share similar beliefs about how reality works, those beliefs tend to materialize consistently in their shared experience. This creates the appearance of fixed laws governing reality, when what actually exists are patterns of collective manifestation from the alternative space based on shared expectations. The collective world doesn't override individual reality layers, but intersects with them. Your personal experience always reflects your own energetic patterns first and foremost, even as it must harmonize with the collective patterns around you. This explains why individuals can sometimes manifest experiences that seem to defy collective expectations. They're creating a personal reality layer that selects different sectors of the alternative space than those selected by the majority. This model helps explain cultural variations in experience, historical changes in what's considered possible, and how revolutionary thinkers can sometimes manifest breakthroughs that were previously considered impossible. All represent shifts in which sectors of the alternative space are being collectively or individually materialized. The first practical step in applying alternative space knowledge involves a fundamental shift in perspective, recognizing that all possibilities truly exist already, not merely as theoretical concepts, but as complete reality templates awaiting manifestation. This recognition moves us from viewing desired outcomes as things we must create through effort to understanding them as existing realities we can select through consciousness. This perspective shift carries profound psychological implications. What once seemed impossible or unlikely transforms into something already present, just not yet materialized in our current experience. The question changes from how can I make this happen to how can I align myself with this existing reality. This relieves the burden of needing to figure everything out through mental planning and opens us to more intuitive navigation. Practically speaking, this means approaching visualization not as imagining something that doesn't exist, but as tuning into something that already exists in the alternative space. Similarly, it means recognizing that the difficult situation you currently face represents just one of infinite possible variations of your reality, with equally real alternatives available for your selection. With the understanding that all possibilities exist, the next step involves consciously choosing which reality variant you wish to experience. This selection process operates through several mechanisms. 1. Declarative intention, clearly articulating the specific reality version you're choosing. 2. Focused attention, consistently directing your awareness toward aspects of experience that align with your chosen reality. Emotional alignment, cultivating the feeling state that resonates with your desired reality. 4. Identity shifting, adopting the self-concept of someone who already inhabits that reality variant. Decisive action, taking physical steps that correspond with your chosen reality when appropriate opportunities arise. The selection process works most effectively when it focuses on the essence or feeling quality of the desired reality rather than specific physical details. The alternative space contains countless variations that could fulfill the essential quality you seek, many of which might be superior to the specific version you've imagined. By focusing on essence rather than form, you allow the most harmonious manifestation to emerge. This selection also works best when it comes from a place of freedom rather than need or desperation. When you choose a reality variant from a state of openness and curiosity rather than grasping or fear, you create less resistance in the manifestation process. This explains why desires sometimes manifest more easily when we've released our attachment to them. Once you've selected your preferred reality variant, the key to manifesting it lies in consistently aligning your thoughts and feelings with that version of reality. This alignment creates resonance between your energy and the corresponding sector of the alternative space, strengthening the connection until it materializes in your physical experience. Several practices support this alignment process. 1. Consistent visualization that emphasizes the feeling of already experiencing your desired reality. 2. Selective attention that focuses on evidence your chosen reality is emerging. 3. Linguistic choices that reflect the perspective of someone already experiencing that reality. 4. Environmental modifications that support immersion in the feeling of your desired reality. 5. Relationship choices that surround you with people who reinforce rather than contradict your chosen reality. 6. Mental diet that carefully curates the information you consume to support your desired perspective. The most crucial aspect of this alignment involves achieving congruence between conscious intentions and subconscious beliefs. When these align, the unity of heart and mind occurs, activating the full power of outer intention. Various transurfing techniques address this alignment, including slides, visualization, coordination of importance, and work with pendulums, thought energy structures. The final step involves allowing outer intention to bring your selected reality variant into physical manifestation. This allowing represents a paradoxical combination of focused intention and relaxed detachment that many find challenging to master. The allowing process includes releasing attachment to specific mechanisms or timelines for manifestation. 2. Maintaining expectant awareness without forcing or controlling. 3. Following intuitive guidance that emerges spontaneously. 4. Recognizing and acting on synchronicities that appear. 5. Accepting intermediate manifestations as steps toward complete materialization. 6. Trusting the process, even when external evidence hasn't fully appeared. Many manifestation efforts fail at this stage because people either abandon their intention too soon or grip it too tightly. The optimal approach balances persistence with flexibility, maintaining clear intention while remaining open to unexpected paths toward its fulfillment. Outer intention operates most effectively in the state Zealand calls free-flowing intention, where your conscious focus remains on your chosen reality variant, while your grasp on how it must manifest remains loose and adaptable. This allows the most efficient path to materialization to emerge from the infinite possibilities in the alternative space. The alternative space concept offers a nuanced perspective on the age-old philosophical debate between determinism and free will. In this model, all possibilities exist simultaneously, suggesting a kind of superdeterminism where everything that could happen already exists as information. Yet paradoxically, this also creates the space for genuine free will through our capacity to select which possibilities we materialize. This resolves the apparent contradiction between destiny and choice. The range of possibilities might be predetermined in the alternative space, but which possibilities manifest remains a function of consciousness. Our free will operates not by creating new possibilities, which would be impossible since all possibilities already exist, but by selecting among existing possibilities. This selection capacity represents true freedom within a framework of infinite potential. We cannot create what doesn't exist in the alternative space, but since the alternative space contains literally everything possible, this limitation proves meaningless in practice. Our freedom lies in navigating among these infinite potentials rather than creating them ex nihilo. The alternative space concept fundamentally reshapes our understanding of time and causality. Rather than viewing time as a linear progression from past to future, this model presents time as a dimension we move through by selecting different sectors of an already complete information field. This means the future doesn't come into existence as time passes. Rather, we navigate into already existing future potentials through our choices. Similarly, the past doesn't disappear, but remains as information in the alternative space, potentially accessible through certain states of consciousness. What we experience as the flow of time represents our consciousness moving through different sectors of the alternative space. Causality undergoes similar reconceptualization in this model. While physical reality manifests apparent cause-effect relationships, these represent correlations between adjacent sectors of the alternative space rather than fundamental driving mechanisms. This explains how outer intention can manifest outcomes that seem to violate normal causality. It's selecting different tracks in the alternative space rather than being constrained by sequential physical causation. This perspective aligns with certain interpretations of quantum physics, particularly the many worlds or multiple histories interpretations, which suggest that all possible quantum states exist simultaneously in some form. The alternative space provides a coherent framework for understanding how consciousness might navigate among these quantum possibilities. At its deepest level, the alternative space concept raises profound questions about the ultimate nature of reality and consciousness. If all possibilities exist as information, what is the fundamental substrate of this information? What is the relationship between consciousness and the alternative space? Does consciousness merely select from this field, or does it in some sense create it? These questions point toward the frontiers where physics, metaphysics, and spirituality converge. One compelling interpretation suggests that consciousness and the alternative space represent complementary aspects of a deeper unity. Consciousness as the witnessing, selecting principle, and the alternative space as the witness-selected field of possibilities. In this view, neither is more fundamental than the other. They exist in eternal relationship. This perspective resonates with non-dual spiritual traditions that view consciousness and its contents as inseparable aspects of a unified reality. It also aligns with certain interpretations of quantum physics that place consciousness in a central role in the manifestation of physical reality from fields of probability. The practical implication of these philosophical considerations is profound humility combined with extraordinary empowerment. We recognize ourselves as both infinitely small within the vast alternative space and infinitely powerful through our capacity to select from its infinite possibilities. We are simultaneously the creators and the created, the observers and the observed, forever participating in the dance of manifestation. Understanding the alternative space transforms our fundamental relationship with reality. We move from seeing ourselves as limited beings struggling against fixed circumstances to recognizing ourselves as conscious navigators, selecting our path through infinite possibilities. This shift doesn't just change our philosophical outlook, it radically alters how we approach every aspect of life, from problem solving to goal setting, from relationships to personal growth. With this awareness, we can approach life's challenges not as immovable obstacles, but as temporary sectors in our journey through the alternative space. We can view our dreams and aspirations not as distant possibilities we must struggle to create, but as existing realities we can align with and manifest. We can relate to others with greater compassion, recognizing that they too are navigating their own paths through infinite possibilities according to their current level of awareness. The alternative space concept invites us to live with constantly renewed wonder at the infinite potential surrounding us at every moment. It reminds us that no matter how fixed or limited our circumstances may appear, alternative possibilities always exist just beyond our current perception, waiting for our consciousness to select them. It empowers us to participate consciously in choosing which version of reality we experience, while simultaneously cultivating humble gratitude for the miraculous nature of existence itself. As we continue exploring reality transurfing principles, we'll build upon this fundamental understanding of the alternative space to develop specific techniques for navigating it more consciously. We'll learn how to communicate effectively with the mirror of reality, how to manage our energy to support our desired manifestations, and how to overcome the common obstacles that prevent us from experiencing our chosen sectors of the alternative space. The journey begins with this recognition. All possibilities already exist, and you possess the consciousness to choose among them. Your reality is not happening to you by chance or fate. It's being selected by you, moment by moment, through the focus of your awareness and the quality of your thoughts. With this knowledge comes not just power, but responsibility, the invitation to choose wisely the reality you wish to experience, knowing that whatever you select from the infinite alternative space will constitute the world you inhabit.